Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Dreamer Podcast, and I am the host, Kevin. And today we're going to be going into an interesting episode, and it's called Building New Healthy Habits. I know I am one of those that has fallen a victim of falling into bad habits. So today we're just going to be exploring how we could fix and avoid falling into the trap of doing consistency bad habits, and how we can basically do reverse psychology on that and turn it upside down. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. All right, guys. So I hope you guys find a comfortable spot so we can go ahead and get started with these um, these 10 tips that I'm going to give you about building new habits. Let's start off with the first one, and that's going to be starting small. By beginning with tiny, manageable changes, this is going to help you not only progress, but it's also going to be avoiding feeling overwhelmed. Most of the times, whenever we want a significant change immediately, especially immediately, we want to see big changes, right? We want to see changes that are happening overnight. And you know what? As badass as that would be, it's just not going to happen, especially overnight. I currently have a bad habit of eating chips. I just love chips. I just have a bad habit. I don't know what they put in it. I feel like they put cocaine in it because I'm just so addicted to them. And as we go over these 10 tips, I'm gonna show you how I manage to lower my tolerance level of these chips. These chips that I eat, they are Doritos Flaming Hot, Cheetos Flaming Hot, anything that's purple in a bag that has chips. I'm head over heels for that. I generally have a love hate relationship with Doritos. It's just a fact. But yeah, it's just managing tiny little changes. Let me show you how I made a tiny change by by doing by doing what I'm about to preach, basically. How I managed to make little changes. I managed to make these little changes by only eating these chips on special occasions. For example, if I'm going out, if I'm hanging out with, if I'm being social, that's whenever I'll eat them. I also added another option where I would only eat them on Sundays, not the weekend, just on Sundays. That is something that I look forward to every week, and I have been able to manage my tolerance level. Uh, it used to be really bad, where I would have chips all day, every day. I'm not kidding. Like, I would have these on my side. I would be able to eat two, three, actually two full bags of Doritos chips. I ain't lying to you guys. Like, I have a bad addiction to them. And yeah, I eventually lowered it down. It's not as bad as it used to be. But that's just to shows you that everyone has those bad habits. And that brings me to my second one. Being specific. Clarify defining or clarify defining your habit. Embrace it, acknowledge it, and fix it. This is going to make it easier to track your progress. Like I said, I admit that I have bad habits of eating chips, but and I'm admitting it, owning up to it, and eventually it's my responsibility to to fix the way I look at these. You know, it's a bad um, relationship with them. And I've been able to manage it by obviously implementing these specific goals, starting out small, and and eventually, I want to avoid them like as much as possible because obviously they're bad for you. But it's a work in progress. I'm still working on it, and that's just a small small goal, right? But eventually it'll lead up to a good day, a good time. All right, brings me to number three. Number three is going to be set realistic goals in whatever you do. No matter if you are having bad habits, right? Whatever bad habit it is, make sure that you set realistic goals. For example, one thing that I have been a mistake of is I'm going to cut out the chips completely out of my life. Like it's over. They're done. No more. And that's what you want to avoid. You don't want to do that. Because I promise you, you will fail at that, especially whenever you have a bad addiction. So make sure that you have a set realistic goals. This brings me back to my the first goal, which or not the goal, but the habit of setting tiny, manageable steps. Brings me to number four, create a routine. So make sure you incorporate the new habit into an existing routine for consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. I'm always going to repeat this. The Taurus always wins against the hare. So focus on creating a routine. Once you have a routine, shit, even write it down if you need to. So focus on that, and we're gonna go into the next one. It's gonna lead me straight into it. It's gonna be focus on one habit at a time. Don't manage many multiple habits, bad habits at a time. Just stick to one, aim at one, and try to dominate that one. Don't let it control you. You control it. And again, this is gonna be starting out back in the mind. The mind is a really fascinating, complicated machine. We all have one, and we're all capable of uh, basically making the best of what we can possibly be. All right. Also, make sure that we track your progress, or that you track your progress. By tracking your progress, by keeping a journal or using apps to monitor and celebrate your achievements, is the best way to reward yourself for achieving those small little habit changes that you are trying to do. Make sure you keep your progress. Make sure you write it down. I personally like to put it down on my notes on my phone, but oftentimes there's people that do that but don't check back on them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if it's just a technology thing, but make sure that you always look back on what you started and try to finish what you started. Stay consistent. Consistency is key. Like I said, I'm just gonna have be like a broken record at this point. Whenever I'm talking about consistency, it consistency is key. I mean, it's as simple as that. So just repeat the behavior regularly and solidify the habit. Basically, bringing me on to my last three. Find a trigger. Associate a new habit with an existing cue or activity. What do I mean by that? So let's take this for example. Whenever I go to a store, my mind immediately goes to the chip aisle. That's a trigger. Whenever I go to this same store every single time, my mind's like, "Oh, we're gonna get chips today." So try to replicate that with something else. How I've been trying to do it is by not bringing cash with me anytime I go to that store. Well, you're probably asking like, "Well, why do you go to a store for?" Right? Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I don't go to the store with cash. I go to the store with card, but I still don't make any chip payments or anything like that. I just go there for whatever I actually have to do, get, or I go to another store that doesn't have those chips. Honestly, where I live, they have these chips everywhere, but Another thing that has helped me is try not to bring my wallet um, as much. This again saves me money and also avoids me spending money on the chips. Because anytime I would have my wallet, I would have the chips. I only use obviously money whenever I have to, but yeah, just replacing that trigger with another trigger. Build on success. Once one habit is established, you set as foundation for additional changes. So once you accomplish many celebrations, many compilations of your many wins, make sure you build on it. It's going to be the foundation, basically. And last and not least, be patient. Habits take time to develop. According to studies, it takes about 21 days to build a new habit. So be patient and be persistent in your efforts. In your efforts. I fucked up that word. So be persistent in your efforts. And yeah, let's just go and review real quick. So going back to my 10 steps. Well, they're not mine, but these are the steps that I try to follow whenever breaking a bad habit, actually. So, number one, start small. Begin with tiny, manageable changes to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Number two, be specific, be clearly and defined about your habit. Make it easier so you can track the progress. Number three, set realistic goals. Ensure that your objectives are achievable within your current lifestyle. Number four, create a routine. And creating a routine is going to help build new habits into existence. And this is going to help you for consistency. Focus one habit at a time. Concentrate on your efforts on developing one habit before tackling others. This is going to avoid fatigue. Track your progress, whether that's on a journal or use apps to monitor and celebrate your achievements. Stay consistent. Consistency is key. Remember, repeat. The repeat behavior regularly is going to help you solidify the habit. Number eight, find a trigger. Associate a new habit with an existing cue or activity. Number nine, build on success. Once a new habit is established, use it as a foundation for additional changes. And last and not least, be patient. Habits take time to develop, so be patient and be persistent in your efforts. That's all I got for you guys. If you guys found anything interesting or anything out of this podcast, please let me know down below. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I just really appreciate you guys for listening. We're on episode number 12, and we still got a couple more to go by the end of the year. So, like I said, they're going to be coming out every Friday between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. All right, I'm checking out. Thank you guys for tuning in.